Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Zeal for Python by RB. Today we are going to learn about data types in Python. Topics which we will cover today are: what are core data types, immutable and mutable, numbers, sequence based data types, string, list, tuple, dictionary, files and sets. In Python, everything is considered as object and are stored in memory. Each object has its own data type whose detail is stored in type designator header. The data types, which are the part of Python language and are always available for use, are called core data types. The example of core data types are numbers, strings, list, dictionary, tuples, files and sets. Data types in Python can further be classified as for immutable objects and mutable objects. Let us learn about immutable objects. Objects which cannot be changed in place is called immutable. For example, take a variable called num1 and assign it a value 3. Now, if I will check the memory identifier of num1, it will give me a value. Now, if I change the value of num1 to say 5, and again if I check the memory identifier of num1, it will give me a different value. This means that num1 variable was first referring to an object 3 whose identifier was this number. But as soon as I change the value of variable num1 to an object 5, the num1 starts pointing to a new object 5 which is stored in different location. Both have different memory ID. This is why they are called as immutable. The IDs may change depending on your machine. In my machine, I can get another value, and for your machine, you can get a different one. When a new value is assigned to an immutable object, an entirely new object is created in the new memory location. As we have seen here, num5 object 5 is created in different memory location. Just the variable, it started pointing to this object 5. This means a new object is created, entirely new object. In place change, in the same place, you cannot change the number. Hence, it is called as immutable. Variables start referencing to that new object. If you want to check the data type of variable, you can use a method called type. For example, if I want to check the type of num1, I will use type num1. It will give me its data type as int. And for checking the ID, that is memory identifier, I will use method ID with variable name. It will give me a memory identifier where object is stored. Let us see about mutable objects. Objects that can change in same place of memory location are called mutable objects. Take an example of list. List1. I will check the ID of list1. Now, if I want to change the list, suppose in place of 4, I want 10. What I will do? List1. In place of 4, that is in position 1, in index 1, I am changing the value of list to 4 to 10. It will give me a new list with value 2, 10, 6, 8. Now, if I check its ID, it is giving me the same ID which was of list 1 with value 2468. This means that even if I am changing my list 1, my IDs remain same. Mean the change is in place change. These are called the mutable objects. Mutable and immutable objects can further be classified as numbers, strings and tuples comes under immutable object. List, dictionary and sets come under mutable objects. Let us learn about data type numbers. Numbers also has its own subtypes as integer, float and complex. Now, these are if you write a simple number 1, 20, 30, a whole number, an integer, it comes as under integer type. Let's see example of numbers. In num1, if I am putting 2, I see the type of num1, it will give me integer. If in a variable num1, I take a floating number that is 2.1678, and if I check its type, it will give me float. You might have learned about complex number. If I put a complex number as and check the type, it will give me complex. See, here keep in mind that for float types, there is a difference in Python 2.7 and Python 3 above. In Python 2.7, for long objects, L is used at the end of number. After some integers, letter L is used. But in Python 3, there is no precision limit. For example, if I am putting num is equals to, say, I am using many numbers here. It will give me those as it is. This is not the case in 2.7. In 2.7, it will take only 32 bits or 64 bits depending on which Python you have installed, and it will give L after that precise number of bits. Now let us learn something about sequence-based data types. What is sequence? Sequence is the ordered collection of similar or different objects. It allows to store and organize multiple values in efficient way. Each element in Python sequence have their own position and maintain left to right order. These positions are called indexes. Sequence-based data types can also be classified as mutable and immutable. List, which can change in place, is mutable. Strings and tuples, they cannot be changed, so they are under immutables. Let us learn about string. What is string? String can be used to record information. It is nothing but the sequence of letters or characters. Strings are immutable like numbers, but they are positionally ordered. Consider name, zeal for Python. If I check its type, it will tell me it is a string. Now, if I want to change the name, if I want to add some more thing to it, let us say if I want it as zeal for Python by RB, it will give me, but both the IDs, both both the IDs for name zeal for Python and name zeal for Python by RB will be different. Let us see about list. As you know that lists are mutable. Lists are positionally ordered collection of similar or different objects. These are mutable and are enclosed in square brackets. In list, we can store multiple data type objects. For example, record zeal is my one element, 26 is another, 28.1 is another, and 1, 2, 3 is another. As you can see here, I have in my list, I have zeal as string, number, float and tuple. All are different data types. See. In list, we can store multiple data types object. The positions, zeal, 26, the position, they are in a sequence. They have a position. Zeal is in position 0, 26 is in position 1, 2 and 3. These positions are called indexes. Why lists are called positionally ordered? Because in Python, when you create a list, it maintains its order in which you have created, and the elements in the list can be accessed by the positions which are called indexes. Tuples. Tuples are sequence based data types and are immutable, just like list. But the difference here is list can be changed in place, but tuples cannot be changed. And tuples are enclosed in parentheses. Tuples are also used to store data like list, but they cannot be changed after formation. As they are immutable, they can be used where security or integrity of data is important. For example, where passwords are used or where the information of some employee is very confidential and it cannot be changed. In those places, tuples can be used. Example, if I want to create a tuple, I will use tuple 1 is equal to it gives me tuple. Dictionary. Dictionary is a collection of objects stored in the form of key and value. As you have seen in list, we can access the values of list with the help of their indexes. But in dictionary, we have keys. In reference to key, you can store a value. So it is called as key value pair. Like list, dictionaries are also used to store data, but they are unordered. Unordered means that you store the data in one order, but what you get in the dictionary is not fixed. Values can be accessed using keys and are enclosed by curly brackets. If you want to change your value, if you want to change your ID, your dictionary, you need to first refer your value, which key you have to change. In reference to your key, the value will be changed here. The example how to create an dictionary is, suppose employee data employee name I'm giving as Tom. Then I have employee ID as 1321. Then I have date of joining as 28/2020. This is my list. If I see how it is created, see, this is my dictionary. Now files. You are very much familiar with files. Excel file, Word file, your messages file. Similarly in Python, file object can be used to read, write, text, audio clips, Excel documents, emails, messages, or any other information stored on computer. Files are main interface between computer and external data on your computer. There is no specific syntax for files. Files can be created by using built-in function open. We will be covering files in details in our upcoming videos. Sets. Sets are similar to tuples or a list, but they are immutable and unordered, unindexed. Its values cannot be accessed, and order of sets are not fixed. Sets only contains unique value, hence are used to remove duplicate. Example of set we will take. For set 1, Zeal 2020 to Tom 2020 again I'm taking, then I'm taking Zeal again. If you see, I have duplicate values here, but as soon as my set I execute my code, what it will give me is only those values which are unique. And if you see my order of object, see, order is also not fixed. First I wrote Zil, but I got Tom. This is nothing but the unordered. All the data types in Python have their own type-specific methods which can be used to access and work with them. As Python is dynamic typing, it is also considered as strongly typed because you can perform only those operations on the objects which are specific for that type. For example, for numbers, if I use a plus sign, it will add the numbers. But in string, if I use plus sign, it will append the string. This is nothing but type specific operations. We will discuss all the data types with its type specific methods and modules in detail in our further videos. I hope you understand today's topic. Thank you. Please like, subscribe and share our videos.